A dramatic constitutional showdown is heating up, pitting the power of the White House directly against a powerful state house. California Governor Gavin Newsom has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, launching a legal challenge that cuts straight to the heart of American federalism. Who controls the National Guard? The dispute centers on a lightning-fast decision by the administration to deploy 300 members of the California National Guard into neighboring Oregon. This isn't just a political spat. It's a high-stakes legal move that Governor Newsom calls a breathtaking abuse of power, setting the stage for one of the most significant legal battles over military authority in recent memory. To understand this lawsuit, we have to look at its immediate catalyst: the turmoil in Portland, Oregon. For months, President Trump has made it clear he intends to use the full force of the federal government, including the National Guard, to suppress civil unrest and crime in certain major Democrat-led cities. Just one day before the California deployment, a federal judge had delivered a massive blow to that plan. That judge blocked President Trump's attempt to federalize and deploy the Oregon National Guard troops within their own state, a ruling that questioned the administration's authority on constitutional grounds. The administration's immediate response was swift and provocative. If the president couldn't use the Oregon Guard, he would use California's. Suddenly, 300 Californian troops were ordered into Oregon. This aggressive move was seen by critics as a deliberate end run around the federal court ruling, transforming an internal state matter into an interstate conflict and escalating the already tense relationship between the administration and Democratic governors. Governor Newsom, a frequent antagonist of the president, wasted no time in filing his lawsuit. His language was scathing and unequivocal. Quote, "V.O. Deep voice, authoritative. We're suing Donald Trump. His deployment of the California National Guard to Oregon isn't about crime. It's about power. He is using our military as political pawns to build up his own ego. It's appalling. It's un-American. And it must stop." Host. Newsom argues that the president is intentionally ignoring judicial oversight and treating judges as political opponents. On the other side, the White House has dismissed the entire legal challenge as nothing more than political theater. A spokesperson, Abigail Jackson, defended the action, saying the president exercised his lawful authority and pivoting the attack back to Newsom, accusing him of siding with violent criminals destroying Portland. The legal debate hinges on the delicate concept of dual hat status. The National Guard generally operates under the control of the state's governor. However, the president can federalize these troops under certain conditions. Newsom's lawsuit contends that the president is attempting to deploy state assets for domestic policy goals without the necessary legal justification or the consent of the originating state's governor. This is not an isolated incident. This battle is being watched closely by governors across the country. Oregon's Attorney General Dan Rayfield has already thrown his support behind the lawsuit, asserting that the president is hell-bent on deploying the military, absent the proper legal authority. Furthermore, Democratic governors like J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, who has also publicly fought against the president's plans to send troops to Chicago, are keenly interested in the outcome. The case could establish a critical legal precedent defining the limits of presidential power in deploying state-based military assets for domestic missions. If a president can deploy one state's guard to another without the consent of the originating governor, it fundamentally rewrites the balance of power between state and federal governments. The deployment of 300 California Guard members to Oregon is more than a momentary news cycle. It is a constitutional line drawn in the sand. Governor Newsom's lawsuit challenges the notion that the president can simply circumvent the courts and disregard states' rights in his pursuit of order. We will be tracking this lawsuit as it moves through the federal courts. Regardless of the outcome, this legal battle over the National Guard's deployment is poised to be a defining moment in the history of executive power and states' sovereignty.